In just the last 23 hours, the South Bay and L.A. harbor area have seen this absolute whirlwind of activity. We're talking massive infrastructure projects kicking off, tech giants completely restructuring, and the very way our communities look and feel being reimagined. Now, this isn't just a bunch of random events. It's what we're calling structured growth, a really deliberate and powerful transformation. So let's break down what's been happening.
Yeah, what we're witnessing is a totally deliberate transformation. From the port all the way to our own city blocks, you've got people making these huge, calculated moves that are literally going to define the region's future. Every single event we're about to cover is a piece of that bigger puzzle, and it reveals a pretty clear strategy for what's coming next.
I mean, just think about the pace of this. Monday afternoon starts with a 9-figure infrastructure project. That same evening, a fintech giant announces a major shift in its workforce, and you have this incredible, historic Maritime reunion. Then you wake up Tuesday morning, and a vital, affordable housing complex is opening its doors. This is the pulse of the South Bay, and we're about to dig into every single beat.
Okay, first up, let's look at the bedrock of the region's economy. We're talking infrastructure and the super complex world of global logistics. These are the physical and economic currents that shape pretty much everything else.
That $152 million Avalon Pedestrian Bridge? It is so much more than just concrete and steel. It's a monumental investment in the community. This project's going to transform 12 acres of what used to be industrial land into public open space, finally connecting the Wilmington community right to its own waterfront. I mean, that's an absolute game changer for quality of life and public access.
Now this shows a really critical tension down at the port. You've got fleet capacity up by 3.2%, but the stuff being handled at ports worldwide is only growing at half that rate. That pushes shipping rates down. And to make things even tougher, a key export market has basically collapsed. Soybean shipments to China are down by 80%. So while we're building for the future on land, the seas are facing some pretty serious economic headwinds.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about the corporate and tech world. Here, we're seeing these really dramatic, almost opposite strategies unfold as companies try to adapt to new tech and, what the market wants.
So check this out. You've got two totally different ways of tackling the AI revolution. On one side, Block, you might know them as Square, is laying off a huge chunk of its workforce. But it's not because they're failing, they're actually restructuring to create smaller, more agile, AI-powered teams. Then on the other side, you've got a local satellite maker, CesiumAstro, who's buying an AI firm to build intelligence right into their hardware, in space. It's this fascinating split, shrinking for efficiency versus buying up for more capability.
Innovation is also coming from some of the big established players. El Segundo's own Beyond Meat, a company we all associate with plant-based meat, is now jumping into the super crowded beverage market with sparkling protein drinks. It's a bold move, for sure, and a great example of a local giant that just refuses to stand still.
Okay, let's bring it all down to the ground level. The very way we use space in the South Bay is going through this massive, seismic shift. From the huge office buildings all the way down to the small businesses that make our neighborhoods feel alive.
The key idea that's driving all this change is something called adaptive reuse. With office and retail space taking a huge hit, investors are looking at these buildings and not just seeing what they were, they're asking, what else can this be? And some analysts are suggesting the market might finally be finding a floor because of this really creative rethinking.
And a perfect example is playing out right now in Manhattan Beach. There's a proposal to tear down a 78,000 square foot office building and put up a 500-unit apartment complex, with 100 of those units being affordable. So this isn't just some theory, it's a really clear pivot from commercial space to much-needed housing, and it's happening right now.
And in the middle of all these huge shifts, the local pulse is just beating strong. We've got the grand opening of Redtail Crossing, bringing 47 affordable homes to San Pedro. A local legend, Mickey's Deli, is expanding. A brand new tropical spot, Tiki Kai, just opened in Hermosa. And Sling Pilot Academy in Torrance just settled a big dispute which secures its future. This is what growth looks like at the community level.
Okay, a new bridge, corporate shakeups, real estate transformations, brand new businesses. We've just covered a dizzying amount of activity, right? It's exciting, but it also creates a huge challenge.
And this is the central question. I mean, if you're the team behind that bridge, or the founder of that new restaurant, or the CEO of that tech company, how do you make sure your message is actually heard above everything else? How do you grab the attention of the community, or your investors, or your customers?
This is where we pivot from just reporting the news to talking about how to shape it. The key is turning these factual events into compelling visual stories that people can connect with instantly.
Let's look at a few strategies using the very stories we just talked about. A really successful approach can be broken down into 4 key actions. You have to visualize the big transformations, simplify the complex ideas, drive actual foot traffic, and accelerate new product launches. So, let's see how that applies.
So take those massive projects, that $152 million bridge or the 500-unit apartment complex. Looking at blueprints is one thing, but showing the public a stunning 3D render or a drone time-lapse of what it's going to look like, that builds genuine excitement and community buy-in before a single shovel even hits the ground.
And what about Beyond Meat's new drinks? To break into a market that's already packed, they need immediate impact. The solution there is creating these short, punchy, vertical videos that are designed specifically for TikTok and Instagram. That's what generates that instant, "ooh, I want to try that" reaction and gets people to share it.
For our new local spots, right, like Tiki Kai and Mickey's Deli, the challenge is simple. Get locals to walk through the door. Immersive little micro videos that capture the sizzle of the food, the vibe of the restaurant, and just the energy of the grand opening, that can stop someone mid-scroll and turn them into a customer that very same day.
And finally, how in the world do you explain embedding AI into a satellite, like CesiumAstro is doing? The answer is animation. Short, clean, voxel-style animations can break down an incredibly complex idea like on-orbit AI processing into something that investors, potential employees, and the public can actually understand and, get excited about. So, as we see all this structured growth happening all around us, it becomes pretty clear that building the buildings and the companies is really only half the battle. The other half is building the story.
And this is really the main takeaway. In a region that's moving this fast, just doing something remarkable isn't enough anymore. Having a clear, compelling, and visual way to communicate your story is absolutely essential for success, whether you're building a bridge or you're building a brand.
Ultimately, every single one of these projects and businesses is part of the South Bay's bigger story of growth. And that leads to one final question for you. As our region keeps evolving at this incredible pace, how is your story going to be told? Thanks for joining this explainer.